the freedom that we enjoy today on social media, in some circles, X specifically, would go away under Kamala Harris's regime. And she has gotten power and abused it repeatedly throughout her career. And we saw her shameful performance in the Kavanaugh hearings, for example, where she used her platform to pretend to be this big prosecutor and to hold Brett Kavanaugh accountable on zero evidence. But it's very selective. When someone close to her is accused of sexual misconduct and violence, her husband, she's silent,
So let's explore that in a little more detail. So she marries a guy called Doug Emhoff.
Yeah.
Who is kind of a moral scold himself. His job has been to scold the rest of us for our moral inferiority, I've noticed. But who is he exactly?
So Doug Emhoff is a lifetime, long-term partner at big American law firms. And so he came of age, around the same time as Kamala in the 1990s era. He became a partner at this law firm, Venables, big partner in Los Angeles.
Can I say there's no sleazier group I've ever met? I mean, a lot of big law partners. I would rather make a rapper, the godfather to my kids, than those people. Sorry, I just want to say that.
And I grew up in that kind of a setting in New York, and you're absolutely correct. So, if anyone's seen the fictional series Mad Men, the advertising agencies, well, that was law firms in the 1990s and even 2000s. Some people say to this day, where powerful men exploited less powerful women for their sexual gratification, cheated on their wives, You want to make partner at some big law firms. And the time I was growing up, you had to sleep with a partner to do it. I myself accused a partner at my first job of sexual harassment. And, that person went on to still be a partner to this day at other big, powerful law firms. And so it's really commonplace. Okay. So this guy is in that vein of, that era of I would really call it regressive, male-centric law firm partnership. So Doug Emhoff has a couple of kids. He was married to I think a Hollywood executive, Hollywood producer, and divorced from her. They remain on good terms. In fact, Doug Emhoff's law firm has represented his ex-wife in litigation, actually, involving a entertainment dispute. So they're on good terms. Maybe he's done her some favors or what have you. But Kamala Harris dated Willie Brown, dated some other powerful men over the years.
Montel Williams, ladies and
Williams. There's been allegations that she dated Phil Bronstein, who ran the San Francisco Chronicle for many years.
Married Sharon Stone, I think.
Married Sharon Stone. And so
got eaten by some kind of iguana at the zoo.
She's dated a lot of she's pretty much only dated powerful guys. Let's be honest. Okay. I don't know any ordinary Joes who've come out of the woodwork to say, oh yeah, I was like the plumber and I dated Kamala Harris, right?
What is that? What's the significance of that?
The significance of it is she's a user. I think she's a, ambitious person, and she's only, wanted to climb the rungs of power by aligning herself in a very medieval way with people who can further her geopolitical interests, if you will. So Emhoff fits that bill. He had access to the millions of Hollywood. He had access to the law firm money. And he, is a person who gave her entree that really helped her out a lot in her Senate fundraising and so forth. So, she's married this guy. In recent weeks, it's come out that he is very credibly accused by a woman who's told her story to multiple publications of publicly slapping her at the Cannes Film Festival, where this lady had been invited. In the face so hard that she spun around from it.
So this is a stressful time of year. The kids are going back to school. Vacation is over. It's the height of a presidential election season. There's a lot going on. You need a good night's sleep, but it's never been harder to get it. So we were talking about this in the office the other day, and a couple people who work here were raving about a product called 8 Sleep. And I wanted to know more about it. It turns out that temperature has a lot to do with whether or not you sleep comfortably and wake up feeling rested, like you actually slept. Now, the makers of 8 Sleep Pod figured out that if you make a climate-controlled mattress cover you can add to your existing bed, you don't have to buy a new bed, just the cover, that it changes everything. You get far fewer problems with falling asleep and staying asleep, and so you feel rested the next day. Sleep actually has its desired effect. The 8 Sleep Pod can be used to warm up or cool off your bed. And that matters because temperatures change seasonally. We have climate change in this country. It's called winter. And so you can feel comfortable all night long. It even adjusts to different preferences on either side of the bed, which might be helpful in your relationship if you have one of those relationships where the different partners want different temperatures. And those are pretty common. The 8 Sleep Pod has been studied. It's been proven to improve people's sleep and health. Mark Zuckerberg's into it. Elon Musk on the other side. Many others use this product, including people here. So try it. Go to 8sleep.com/Tucker. Use the code Tucker to get $350 off the Pod 4 Ultra. Recommended.
And he did it because after a couple of cocktails, he was apparently very jealous. You know, she went up to a valet to try to jump the line a little bit after waiting over an hour after the film festival got out, and was trying to tip him to let them cut the line. And he got jealous of this and publicly assaulted her.
Hit her in the face.
Hit her in the face. And she immediately reported this to multiple friends of hers. And under the law, this is considered what we call an excited utterance. So if you tell somebody something horrible that happened to you in the immediate seconds and minutes afterwards, it has assigned a higher degree of credibility under hearsay law than otherwise.
For good reason. Yeah.
Right, because people are more likely to be truthful when they've got the adrenaline running through them in the moment what exactly just happened. So because of the dynamics of the situation, she allegedly got into the car. The valets were shocked by this disgusting scene and, let them go. He forced his way into the same car. So while she's in the car with this person, the story goes that the Daily Mail has reported, she called somebody she knew back in the United States and told them what was happening. Then she also reported it to a couple of friends of hers. And so her story has apparently been consistent according to the witnesses who the press has interviewed. And that's one instance. But the more shocking part of the story is that this woman recounts that Emhoff casually told her in the days or weeks before this incident, because she was being what she called love bombed by him. He was allegedly, pursuing her for marriage. This is after he got divorced from his wife, and they were dating for a period of months. She finally, I think it must have come up, how did you get divorced? Like, what happened to your marriage? And apparently he told her that he had been accused by his elementary school teacher's babysitter of getting her pregnant.
His elementary school age children?
Children's teacher, sorry. Yeah. Correct. Sorry, that's correct. So he had 2 elementary school kids at the time. And this teacher was serving as their after-school babysitter / nanny, tutor, whatever you want to call it, getting her pregnant and then causing the miscarriage, the loss of the pregnancy.
Causing the miscarriage.
Causing the termination of the pregnancy, not explicitly through abortion, but maybe through a miscarriage. That's the accusation.
Since he's
through violence.
Hit a woman in the face. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, now American.
He told her this?
He told her this casually. So American media being what it is today,
kind of a big deal. The vice president's husband, who's redefining masculinity and lecturing us all about bigotry all the time. What a sanctimonious little prick that guy is. That guy is accused of hitting a woman in the face and causing another woman to have a miscarriage.
Right. And I mean, dating back to my years in law school, I took 40 hours of training and became a counselor for victims of domestic violence. I've gone to court for many women who have been abused. And it's science behind it that someone who hits a woman once in a public place,
he's
almost in the face in front of hundreds of witnesses in a line. This person has done it in other circumstances. I would virtually guarantee that it doesn't happen one time. It's the culmination of a pattern of years of experience. Another story has come out about Doug Emhoff's conduct at his own law firm, Venables, where he apparently hired a lady to be his paralegal or his secretary sitting on his desk. And her name was Katya. And to the point that other male partners in the office demanded their own paralegal to sit on their desk. And this Katya episode happened during the time that Kamala Harris was engaged to be married to Doug Emhoff. She may have come into contact with this person.
So the implication is?
The implication is he uses women as objects and doesn't treat them as equals and doesn't respect them. I think that's fair.
Probably not too surprising that he's like some power feminist now, right?
Well, I think...
Have you ever met a male feminist who treats women well? I haven't.
One should always be suspicious of the male feminists. That's my experience.
I've never met anybody more likely to hit a woman in the face or cause a miscarriage than a male feminist. I mean, they're all abusers. I've never met one who was not an abuser of women, ever.
Well, what concerns me as a 30-year-plus activist on domestic violence is the prospect that somebody like that might be in the White House. I think that's very scary. And that the president of the United States might be an enabler of somebody like that. That really bothers me.
Well, yeah. So that's the obvious question. I mean, these sound like this is not Brett Kavanaugh stuff. These are credible.
I think it's very credible. These stories were sourced with multiple sources, and I think there's probably more that's going to come out. I won't be surprised.
And this is an actual human being making these allegations.
Actual human being making these allegations. And, they're making them to a person who has a history of looking the other way, enabling, being the beneficiary of...
Well, so that's the question. Kamala Harris is a huge defender of women. All the girls are voting for her because she's for women. What's her position on these allegations?
She hasn't commented. And, when she was running for district attorney, I've looked at her resume at the time, and she listed as one of her credentials being the chairman of the board of a domestic violence advocacy organization. She has promoted herself.
Oh, so perfect.
She has promoted herself as a prosecutor who's been, protecting women from sex trafficking and human trafficking. And I can tell you, just a quality of life issue in San Francisco, where I've lived for the last almost 25 years now, is that you can't get elected in San Francisco without checking the boxes of different constituencies. And one of those is the Chinese American Chinatown community, which includes a lot of organized crime and sex trafficking. And in her years as district attorney,
and always has,
she never touched the sex trafficking dens in Chinatown. I walked through Chinatown on my way to work before it got, super dangerous in San Francisco.
Chinatown is dangerous now?
San Francisco is dangerous. I don't think there's any safe place in San Francisco.
It was one of the safest cities in the country.
It's tragic because it's a beautiful city.
Most beautiful.
It's like some would call it the Paris of the United States.
Cape Town.
Beautiful city. And during her years there, she really allowed sex trafficking to flourish. She was notorious as a prosecutor for only taking up the slam dunk cases. And even there, she had a very low prosecution rate in her later years. And so...
I mean, if you just descend, to 25,000 feet, she's this member of the law enforcement community, as she says. She's the prosecutor in both San Francisco and then statewide in our largest state. And both the city of San Francisco and the state of California became more dangerous and chaotic during that same period.
100%.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.